I do want to figure out a better podcast setup. So, welcome to the Unemployable Podcast. You might see a few different setups here in the next few weeks. I'm going to try a couple different things. I'm really trying to get my wife to let me build a shop in the backyard for this and for my office, just to have it kind of set up forever.
That'd be great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So, today we're talking about giving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a pastor up, trying to raise money for a building. We're not talking about giving like that. We're not talking about giving away your money.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about like values or morals around that. But someone brought to our attention recently that maybe we give too much away.
Yeah.
Maybe we give too much of like exactly how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
I do that often with YouTube. Yeah, I have a course that I want to sell, but
Yeah.
also if you're going to ask me a question about it, I'll tell you exactly how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think whenever that person said that to you?
I thought they're thinking that we're after just monetary gain, but it's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
We're genuinely passionate about a lot of what we do, and when you're genuinely passionate about something, you can't help but tell people about it and share with them and help them.
Yeah.
And that is fulfilling to you more, like just like money is. So I think.
Yeah, it definitely like ties to a bigger goal.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think the bigger goal is?
Of just giving away stuff for free?
Yeah.
Well.
Or just giving value to someone.
Yeah. I mean, our goal would be to team up with people who are like-minded and to look at things, kind of step back and look at things from a bigger picture and valuing relationships and networking and, I mean, leveraging those ways in a way that's very productive and very mutually beneficial to the people that we're giving away too much to.
Yeah. I think it boils down to, and this sounds a little cringy, influence and impact.
Yeah.
That's what we really want. That's the goal.
It is, yeah.
Is influence and impact.
And we were talking about how it's okay to be honest about that the other day.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I want to influence people to bet on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main goal. That's even the title of this podcast, Unemployable, is that in mind.
Yeah.
Like, take control of your future and bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So the goal is something bigger.
It is.
There's monetary in the midst of that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's part of our livelihood in general, in this culture, in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really escape that.
No, yeah. But when you prioritize relationships, when the markets shift and business practices change, it's a lot easier to pivot into the next thing.
Yeah. It is a lot easier when you don't have this kind of trail of burned bridges or people that you took advantage of, or maybe just withheld a little bit of information from. Maybe you didn't just like deceive people, but imagine during the pandemic, you got people paying over asking price, waiving appraisals, all this kind of stuff. Imagine if you just had this kind of charred trail of how you manage that with your buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you made really good money, but you don't think they'll call again.
No, yeah.
And it's just kind of a different approach.
Whenever
you leave situations or transactions or relationships and you feel like, oh, that went really well.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it didn't go well, I handled myself really well.
Yeah.
I learned something, like whatever it is. I was honest with this person and honest with myself afterward.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really comes down to impact. Do you actually want people to take what you've done and learn from it and go do it themselves?
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube's a great example. Like I speak to groups about that. I spoke to a big group yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving the playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is exactly what you can do to get started.
Yeah.
These are exactly the things to avoid in like your mindset around these things. Let me simplify this kind of thing for you so it's super clear and super simple. I don't mind giving that stuff away.
No, yeah. And people really appreciate that about you. Like, people know that you've established yourself
Yeah.
well in this business that not many people have been able to do, like a handful of people. And now you're sitting down with them and are happily telling them what they need to do without necessarily expecting anything back immediately in return, or even in the
Yeah.
long run. Like, you'd be fine if someone didn't join us. You'd still give them the info.
Oh, for sure.
But you
And they also might join in the future.
they might, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of leadership, I think, and that kind of networking, I think, attracts people.
Yeah. And that is the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it gets into a gray area in my mind whenever like that the goal is to influence, then are you being genuine in how you're like treating people and how you're
Yeah.
engaging in those relationships? The more you do it, the more you realize like, no, I actually do like these people and I actually do value them.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah, but let me tell this story. So I got really into CrossFit for a while and had a buddy that I knew he would just love it. And that's how people are when they get into CrossFit. They talk about it all the time. Whatever. I was one of those guys for a while. So I'm like, Josiah, I really want you to come work out with me. He wanted to as well. Just couldn't like make the time work.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm building a gym in my garage, so you can come work out with me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was coming over every day to work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was 5 years ago. And now he works out every day, has his own garage gym.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the impact I want to make on somebody. Like, you want to do this? Let me help you do it, help you overcome the first few obstacles, and then set you on this path. He's thanked me multiple times for getting him into that.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Super valuable. He's always
But the thing is, I was scattering that message
Yeah.
broadly,
Yeah.
and one person it really stuck with. One person really stuck with. Another, it kind of stuck with. And they're kind of back into it now. But it's like, you don't know how impactful it's going to be.
Yeah.
If it's just one person, is it worth it? If it's just one person that like has watched a webinar and goes and builds a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel changes their business, their life, their future, I love that for them.
Yeah. But you're probably pickier with people, maybe. Like, if someone reached out to you about YouTube and whatnot, like, would you be more willing to give them a lot of time and energy than versus like chase after somebody else?
Sure. Yeah, if somebody reaches out, I'm definitely going to give them more attention. But there's still a line there.
Yeah.
Like, if there's no mutual benefit in the long term, like, I'm only going to give them so much.
Yeah, or if they're just not
I'll answer any question you have.
Yeah.
But if you're not like actually doing it, or you're, we're not in alignment in terms of our businesses or things like that, then this is going to be a pretty short road.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not like upset about that. That's just the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another thing that we were kind of giving away recently, and I want to do more of this. 2 things. Our approach to getting some listings and our buyer process.
Yeah.
I just like gave people the presentation. Like, yeah, it has my name on it. Take my name off.
Yeah.
Here it is. Take a look at it. I think giving away those things, not just as like lead magnets. I'll do it that way too. I'll sell it for $47 or something. Get someone in the funnel, build a relationship. See how we can help them in the long run. But I think also doing it just to give it to somebody, just to make an impact on the industry, just to like help this person feel more confident in being good at their job, like whatever it is. I want to do it like that too.
And it's situational, it's case by case, but anytime you feel prompted to do it, we're happy to help. We want people to succeed.
I think people are surprised by that.
They are, yeah, because they probably see this as some big secret recipe that we've got.
Yeah.
That you've built.
And like we talked about last week when we were talking about like lead sources, none of this stuff is that complicated.
No, yeah.
None of it's that hard, but it is hard work.
Does that
make sense?
It does, because it's not just hard work in terms of like how much time you put in. It's hard work in terms of like really challenging yourself to be more confident on camera or be more confident in person or all those things. A lot of people can't get over that hump.
Which I think all those things just go back to discipline. Like, are you willing to have one really challenging year to change the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I mean, you can look back whenever you first got into real estate. If you got in all the way, it was really challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look back at that year when I was starting YouTube. I was new in Florida, I was new in real estate. I look back on that year of 80-hour work weeks, and I'm so thankful for that year.
Yeah.
That 1 year of intense, focused effort changed the next years.
Yeah. Years like that will propel you like 10 years.
They do.
It's crazy.
But if you're not willing to like take that on, then the next ones don't change.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to make that leap or time just goes and you don't change.
And you may not be ready for it.
Yeah.
You may not have the money to do it. You may not have the time to do it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Now I do. Now I have a little more time and a little more money to build the next thing. So that's what I'm focusing on. While this other thing is still running.
Yeah.
I'm still making videos for it. We're still building systems for it. You're still helping all the clients. I'm having to jump in and help clients occasionally. Like it's great.
Yeah.
It's a business that we run that makes money. But now that I have the leverage to do the next thing, I'm putting a lot of my attention there. But I only have the leverage to do the next thing because of that year.
Yeah.
Because of 2021.
Yeah.
When I wasn't closing a ton of deals like every other realtor. No, I was working hard to build the YouTube channel. I was working hard to like figure out what I'm doing and figure it out at a level to where I could communicate it to others and help them do it.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of understanding.
It's a long-term approach. It's an approach that says I'm not thinking about the month to month. I'm thinking about down the road.
Right. But I definitely like look back and it's easy to kind of like be like, yeah, of course I did it that way. Of course I knew it would work. I just didn't. I know I brought that up last week too, but like I didn't know. I really thought if I could get as far as these guys got, I'll know if it's working. But I really didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's
I was just picking a waypoint. And I think it's good to pick a waypoint like that and then pick another one 3 months down the road and then pick another one 3 months down the road. We don't always have to have these huge 5-10 year goals.
No. Yeah.
Like some of those I've shared, like the Italy kind of goal, like, yeah, those are there. But that doesn't mean we don't think short term.
No.
We don't think add one more agent, sell, get one more deal under contract. Like those are still the tactical goals we have.
You've got to have a destination and a direction. Doesn't mean you can't change it, but if you don't have one, you're not going anywhere.
What are other things we could give away? At one point, so I built this big YouTube course. It's like 80-some videos. I almost just like put it all on YouTube.
Yeah, just to do it.
Yeah.
Very Mr. Beast approach.
Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Nothing. Yeah, people will appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's got value in it. That's got long-term value in it. Giving stuff away. Client Giant. Why would we do that? Nobody gets it.
So Client Giant's a service that we pay for.
Yeah.
That sends our past clients quarterly gifts.
Yeah.
Kind of very curated quarterly gifts.
Yeah, and probably one of our biggest expenses this year was jumping into that with no clear-cut ROI established number. This is how much you're going to get at this point in time. But it's just giving gifts.
Yeah.
And long-term, it's going to work better than a lot of other things.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very long-term.
The thing is, something like that, it's automated. We set it and forget it kind of. And our clients know that. They're not surprised it's automated.
No.
Yeah. They're not surprised we hired a service to do this. Like, no, they're happy to be on the list.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people overthink trying to make things super personal to where they don't actually do them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really, yeah. Yeah, and then, they don't do them. That's true. Or they spend a lot of money on them. They get tired.
What they often do is spend a lot of money on a bunch of entry-level things. Just like we talked about last week. They dip their toe into all these things.
Instead of, narrowing in on one spot.
Instead of just saying, okay, what's the most effective? I want to talk about effectiveness.
I say the most effective things are the least glamorous for agents. Like making calls. Not fun, not glamorous, not nice. If you're a new agent, you might have to show a mobile home or two. It's just That's just how things are sometimes.
You don't have to. I never did that.
Yeah, Sam never. I showed a lot of mobile homes, but I mean, if you're full time, you got to make money somehow, and you might have to do some things that you don't necessarily want to do down the road. But you got to set goals and make a plan to work to where you don't have to do that later on. But you might have to do them now. But yeah, that everybody wants, I don't know, fancy cards, fancy signs, all that, and I think that all adds up. But really working on yourself, I'd say, is probably the biggest thing at first.
I had a good call with Don the other day about this. Like, the most effective thing he can do is bring a lead in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's these couple conversions in our business that agents need to focus on way more. It's bring the lead in, get them under contract, and then get repeat and referral business from them.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 conversions are the most important.
I think what's hard for people, and people have this, any lead generation call you get on, they always try to throw these numbers at you. If you do this, you spend this, you'll get this much back.
Yeah.
With YouTube and kind of all these items, there's no set date that you're going to get money back on. I feel like people then hop into it and don't trust the process you're giving them and start maybe changing things, kind of bending away from them, and then it just doesn't really work. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people don't understand what it means to build a brand.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just going to take time and consistency, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, but we've met agents who, they hop on your webinar or something, and you're telling them exactly what to do. But then when it comes to actually getting in the car, going out, standing in the sun, doing the video, learning the whole thing, researching, they don't necessarily want to do it. They want to make that easy video. Or
they do. One of the people on the call yesterday, she started her channel after we met in March in Austin. And I was speaking at this event. She also spoke at the event, and she was set on starting the YouTube channel. Great.
Yeah.
I talked to her about it a bunch. She came to my first follow-up webinar after I spoke at that event. And she started her channel just unedited.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say all this in one take. And I won't add any B-roll. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
She did her first 10 videos like that.
Yeah.
Now she's ready to add B-roll.
Yeah.
You don't always have to start it the perfect way. No. I think it's more important that she started it than that she started it perfectly. If she would have started it with all these systems involved, it probably would have grown a little faster.
Yeah, that's true.
But that seemed like a barrier for her in her mind. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, just start it like that. Go for it.
By opting to use the system, she's leveraging you basically kind of doing that, or the previous person doing that, someone trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah, you have to start it somehow. And then making adjustments is a lot easier. But people should just buy your course. Just do it that way. That's the easiest.
Honestly, I cram so much stuff in webinars too. Come to a webinar. I'll cram a ton in there. Send you the recording. You could go back and take notes from that and get started.
Because there's stuff people don't realize is a big deal.
Yeah.
That it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember that going to your events and going, oh, I need to make videos that people are searching for. You'd think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But when you live in Tampa and you're doing X, Y, and Z, you don't necessarily think that way. So just having that shift, it would be big.
I had somebody push back on the webinar yesterday because I was talking about tokens, which is this idea I bring up a lot, having a couple key things about yourself that you bring up again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I bring up my kids, I bring up being from a small town, and I bring up that I moved here. I bring up these 3 things very specifically because they're influential, they're relatable, and they're memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of establishing this framework, and I got some pushback of well, what if we don't have kids? We don't want to have kids. I'm not saying you have to talk like that.
No, yeah.
I'm saying identify the things about you that are the most influential, the most memorable, and the most relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was bringing up, talking about their dog. I'm like, don't talk about your dog.
Yeah.
It's very relatable, it's very memorable, but it's not influential.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Or it's not, the audience size of it isn't big enough.
Yeah. I feel like every realtor tries to go the sports route. as being relatable.
Maybe, and it works.
You think? Oh, I guess it does.
The audience is big. The market for that's really big. So you being a fan of a team is a very relatable and potentially influential thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I choose the things that are the most influential. So I was helping this person kind of identify hers. I'm like, you're a veteran. Like, that's the most influential thing about you.
Yeah.
You're retired from the military, or you left, and your spouse retired from the military. Like that story, people connect with it so much. It's memorable, it's influential, and it's relatable.
Yeah.
Even if it's relatable in this kind of like mental space.
That's a good point.
But it's really important to choose things that are actually influential.
Mm-hmm.
Not just relatable.
Yeah.
People relate with somebody having dogs. But I've seen people talk about those kind of things on their channel, and they just don't get taken as seriously.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about like a single dude? What would you say to him? Should he like try to talk about like maybe you try to attract single lifestyle buyers or younger buyers?
I think I would still be like. So that's great. That's a good question. Let's go with. We'll use the example of Luke, our barber.
Yeah, nice.
If he was a realtor making videos like this, what would he talk about? Growing up in Korea.
Yeah,
for sure. He would talk about fitness, and he would talk about like
he likes food. He likes food.
Oh yeah,
he's a big foodie.
Yeah, I mean,
but like
he'd talk about being a foodie, but he'd also talk about like entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
those are the things.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares that you're single at that point?
Yeah.
No, you have real relatable interests. You're just sharing those. Even being a foodie, like there's certain things that I mention. Like I'll mention having chickens. Not in every video. Not as a token.
Yeah. But here and there.
Part of me as a person, that's funny. I'm saying my chickens are part of me as a person.
Yeah.
They kind of are.
They're sentimental.
But it's still not the influential token that the other things are.
Mm-hmm.
Real quickly, I want to talk about receiving value from others before we wrap up here, because this is something that I've just always done. Maybe I saw my dad do it, just like ask old guys for advice or...
Yeah.
So I've always had this idea of like, I'm always like adding mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just an occasional conversation I have with somebody.
Yeah.
And I just want their advice about something. Hey, what do you think I should do with this, business situation, or this, we just had this other baby and we're working through this. I have like lists of people that I can call on for those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a collector of mentors.
Yeah.
And I meet more and more. I just thought of another one. More and more through the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm out there putting my face and personality out there all the time. Then I get to connect with these people about a big real estate transaction. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they sell, sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives me a chance to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
I think of someone like Ali.
Yeah.
He's become a good friend to us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll buy a house here. I honestly don't care. He's just a friend now.
Yeah.
He's 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
Has tons of life experience. Grew up in Iran and in Switzerland, and has been parts of all kinds of circles. And I just like respect him and want his advice on things, want his feedback on even how I'm coming across on certain things or all that.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for people like that I can gain value from.
That's big.
And then how much more can I, or not how much more, but how much can I be that for someone else too?
Like them give you value and you kind of
or just somebody
reciprocate?
else, somebody like Reese. How much value can I give Reese?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And be a mentor, even if it's on one topic.
Mm-hmm.
Age doesn't really matter.
No.
Expertise and experience is what matters.
Yeah. Sometimes even just being in it with them matters. Yeah, when you're receiving value, I think the most important thing you could do is to show that you care.
Yeah.
And that you value them taking the time to tell you that. And you respect them, and you're not going to be like prideful about it.
Right.
Like very humble. Like, yes, you're right. Like, because even if you think they're wrong, they could be seeing something that you don't see.
Yeah.
That's always been super important to me as well. Like even hopping into real estate before I really started the course, I was like, what's an agent that's down the road that I can learn from? Because he probably knows what it's really like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably has tips on how to do it better starting out. But then like meeting you, it's like, okay, Sam's like building something that's going to be huge. Like how can I learn from him and be very like, I guess, teachable. Teachable is the word. And
Yeah, that is the word.
And just value you taking the time to even like tell me a few things here and there. Any of that, that's all huge.
It's hard to do that in the long run. It's hard to, so you step in, you take a ton off my plate, you relieve a lot of concerns I have about like my own time with my family, things like that. But then what about when you get to the place where you're like, I'm doing all the work?
Well, it goes back to that, the giving part, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't see this, but to me, I'm like, the main goal with working with you is not a monetary amount. It's that you're building something that's significant and important, and I get to be part of that, and you're allowing me to even be included in some of that.
Yeah.
Like that is a once in a lifetime thing. You don't give that up for just because you're working hard now.
Yeah.
And it'll pivot into the next thing.
It will.
If you continue to value those relationships, they'll stay with you. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in 10.
Yeah. So the list, I don't know why this person's on here. Must be somebody else. Oh, it is. Sasha, Rich, Scott, and Allie. All wealthy people that reached out through YouTube.
Yeah.
All people that I asked for advice.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, multimillionaire, owns a ton of real estate. This guy, multimillionaire, took 3 tech companies public in the 90s. This guy, multimillionaire, sells heating and air.
Yeah.
This guy, independently wealthy and lives in Switzerland. Like, these are really, like, interesting people that I want to, like, be friends with for a long time.
Have any of them bought? I don't think any of them have.
No, none of them have.
None of them have.
I don't even care.
We don't. We really do. No, we really do value them.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. That's, I mean, if you really want to talk about the fastest way to get wealthy, like just be selfish monetary amount, it's going to be networking.
Learn.
It's the best way.
Yeah. And it's not just like, how did you get wealthy?
Yeah.
It's like, no, help me see what's around the corner, even for me, in my situation. What am I missing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's big.
There's a Wayne Gretzky quote. They're asking him like how he is so good, essentially. And he says he always just skates where the puck's going, not where it is.
Yeah.
And mentors help you do that. Mentors help you to skate to where the puck is going.
They also were in your same position.
Yeah.
And now they're recognizing that it's switching again. And they're like, okay, Sam, how do you help us in our business?
Often they are. Yeah.
Like modernize it and adapt to your approach, which is really cool to see.
And that's where like someone like Sasha, like that's where it becomes a friendship.
Yeah.
No, we both respect each other, even though, our net worths are shockingly different.
Yeah. Would be fun to go to his house, San Diego.
Yeah, he keeps inviting us to his beach house in San Diego. But those kind of relationships are so valuable. And I want to be that for other people.
That's great.
Not that I want to be this like revered mentor. No, I want people to know that I'm going to add value to them.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm here to help you.
No, that's the best.
So I'm excited as we're building this next thing, adding more agents, to honestly tell them, like, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Like, my job is to help you. My job is to build more things for you. Make sure you know how to grow your business in the way you want. And
like, we're in it together.
yeah, 100% we're in this together.
And I like that we're not like, like taking other people's, like what we've learned from other people and almost like saying it as if it was us. Like, we're like, hey, we're in it together. So-and-so suggested this. I thought it was great. Like, let's figure it out. Like, together, let's try it. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I get tired of hearing my own voice, how much I talk about Will said this thing,
Yeah.
the coach. And I was like, no, that's just how it is.
That's just the best way to do it. It just shows that you care.
Yeah, and all those things, as you do them in the long run, as you practice these disciplines of whatever it is, they become yours. They evolve into yours.
Mm-hmm.
They evolve into, things you share with your kids. Your kids remember them from you, not from your business coach.
Yeah, no, that's super true. That's why you got to learn always.
That's why you got to have kids.
Yeah, they'll teach you a lot of it.
So we're going to read a couple books together.
Yeah.
Extreme Ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've read a few times. This is a book by Jocko Willink, he's a retired Navy SEAL. He's big in the business world now. It's really about taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Also, Atomic Habits, which is about habit building, and starting with very small ones. So that's why it's called atomic, because an atom is very small.
Yeah.
And then it builds up and builds up and builds up.
It's a hard one.
Another book I'd like to read together. You might not like this one because it's about football.
Oh, no.
The Score Takes Care of Itself. Very similar to a lot of other books I read that are kind of stoic business books. It's like there's a lot of things you can control. There's a lot of things you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing he talks about a lot, maybe I'll just read it and we can just talk about it. I've read it multiple times too. There's a lot of books that I return to
Yeah.
because I want to get more out of them.
That's good.
One thing he talks about is the standard of performance. In this moment, in this play on the football field, in this conversation, in this movement, they're just hit the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do less than the standard in this one moment.
Yeah.
When you do that, the score takes care of itself. That's kind of the overarching message of the book.
It's a great point.
If you uphold your standard in the littlest things,
Mm-hmm.
then the score takes care of itself.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. That's been very impactful to me. I read that book probably 7-8 years ago. And then again, whenever I first started building the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and you, no, it's interesting. I feel like to me, it's big that we do prioritize something like that.
Yeah.
Because that way when the market gets tough, we're getting better. And we're not bragging on ourselves when everybody's doing well. If everybody's doing well, you can't really feel that good about yourself. But when stuff's getting harder and you're still pushing through, then you're hitting the standard and everything else will turn out fine.
Yeah, all that really matters is that standard.
Mm-hmm. You got to adjust it sometimes. It gets a little harder.
Oh, for sure.
Got to work a bit more. Got to think things through.
My coach and I have been talking about this thing recently of just kind of my own confidence, there's a couple things I do for our business that I feel really confident in.
Mm-hmm.
His point was you feel too confident. We need to get you into some more uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, like something that's
hard. He's like, yeah, Sam, everything's going good. You got plenty of money, whatever. But you're not going to get to the next level unless you're more uncomfortable.
No, yeah. You have to, pressure pot. You got to go in the pressure pot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is that what they say in India?
That might be. I don't know. What is it? Is it high pressure? What is it with metal? If it gets better or something?
Yeah, you're thinking of sword making?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought that was a cool analogy because every time you go through a really intense, challenging period, you come out so far ahead that it's almost like you should get in the habit of putting yourselves through those periods, even though they look like they suck from the outside.
Yeah.
But they're really great for you in your development and getting better as a person.
Right.
And you'll just be light years ahead when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever it is. Because you were constantly working on yourself, you're gonna be not just good in the business sense, but family, even managing your time. You're able to do all these fun hobbies all day because you learn how to manage your time when you're younger. You're not just sitting on your butt watching TV. All that stuff. It's just all good. It all helps.
So we're going to keep adding value. We're going to keep giving away stuff for free.
Absolutely.
especially when people ask.
I love it. Honestly, I'll just call people and say, hey, how's it going? How's business?
Yeah, me too.
And it's not like oh, here, you should do this because we're having all this success. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like trying to learn from them too.
Yeah.
And just go through it together with people. That's
There's
what they
pieces you
want.
can take from everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. If they're working.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us.